just wanted to understand what your thoughts are on the property market going forward over the next couple of years, and what do you think of Novyy's business model as a general business model in the real estate sector?
Yeah, thanks, Wakas. I mean, my view is not dissimilar to Ashish's. We certainly, my team as a department and acting principally on the debt side, we see an awful lot of serious landlord investors extracting capital, spending a lot of the last 12, 18 months extracting capital, reallocating their debt portfolios so that they are in a position almost to build a war chest for what is coming. Now, a lot of that was as a result of some of the capex issues as part of the energy efficiency moves that will come through in 2023, where we are going to see a lot of single landlords either deciding not to invest in their individual units or assets, or alternatively finding that the management of those assets is becoming too difficult, as is the accumulation, as in the acquisition of debt at the right price. So it is, as Ashi says, going to be a marketplace for serious people. The UK is, if we look at the history of the UK as a home owning location, it is always going to be about people moving home, leaving their families, renting and or buying, but essentially king of the castle and so on. And so having the opportunity to provide the provision of that housing for aspiring tenants is always going to be very important. So there's always longevity in this market. There is a reason why buy-to-let as a concept has grown and grown in the last 15, 20 years. It didn't exist as a concept 15 years ago. It was called commercial lending. Mm-hmm. It adopted a name, and then it has not looked back since. There is also a reason why there are lenders piling on to create a space in this market to accommodate the number of investors and investment companies that want to work in this market. So, there is, for the right people with the right infrastructure, which is again a point Ashish made right at the very start, it's going to be an attractive area. There is going to be, Ashish mentioned about softening of debt. There are already rates coming out now which are back on 5 years, which weren't in existence 2 weeks ago, and there are already rates that are softer than they were, again, 2-3 weeks ago. So we are going to see a calming of that market. But next year and the next year after are going to be, I think, you're going to see a lot of buy-to-let landlords leaving the market because they aren't serious enough to operate as a business. Yeah. And I think that will probably fit in quite nicely with what Ashish and yourself are trying to achieve.